I transmigrated as the mad fool, but now I build the Cold Regent's heart. Chapter 10. The title of Imperial Artificer brought me exactly what I wanted. Absolute access to the Empire's resources and the full, unquestioned attention of Prince Jing. Su Jin was gone, exiled to a dreary northern outpost, his poetry replaced by the brutal reality of frozen mud and hard labor. The matriarch sent a single venomous letter, which I used to wipe my workbench clean of dust, then burned. My focus immediately shifted from small machines to the largest machine of all, the capital city itself. Prince Jing summoned me to his war room, a vast space dominated by a massive three-dimensional map of the capital sculpted in gray clay. The prince stood over it, pointing to the sprawling slum district near the river. Lin Xu, your next project is the Grand Canal system, the prince commanded. The annual floods are inefficient. They breed disease and waste manpower. The emperor has approved a major redesign. You have unlimited resources. My eyes lit up. This wasn't tailoring, this was civil engineering. This was a challenge worthy of Elias. The current system relies on passive diversion, Your Highness, I noted, tracing the poorly designed water channels on the map. We need active fluid regulation. Draw up your plans, he said. Over the next weeks, my life became a blur of measurements, calculations, and mud. I implemented concepts foreign to this era: gravity-fed siphons, three-stage filtration masons, and, most controversially, mechanical sluice gates that would automatically open or close based on water pressure. It was in the evenings, back at the prince's manor, that the relationship shifted. Prince Jing had dismissed his usual court-appointed valet. Instead, I would be summoned to his study. He didn't ask for a new brace. He asked for an inspection of the old one. The movement feels 0.05 seconds off today, he would observe, placing his foot on the stool. I would kneel, my tools spread around me, and open the intricate housing of the Kinetic Orthosis. The primary tension coil has experienced minor creep due to excessive load, Your Highness, I diagnosed one night, my fingers tracing the inside of his ankle. You spent 3 hours on horseback. I will adjust the spring rate. It was a clinical act of maintenance, but it was intimate. My head would be bent low over his bare leg, concentrating intensely on the smooth skin, the dark scars, and the cold metal. He would sit utterly still, trusting my hands implicitly. "Why do you still wear those tunics?" the prince asked one evening, watching me work. He wasn't talking about my new, functional workwear, but my one remaining piece of original Lin Xu clothing, a deep, ugly, plum-colored tunic I wore for laundry day. "It is durable," I said, "and I don't care about the aesthetic." "You should," he countered. "Your clothing is also a machine. It should work with your function, not against it. That fabric is heavy and restricts your arm movement by 4 degrees. He was critiquing my clothes using my own mechanical language. "I will design you a proper work uniform," he declared. "Something light, flexible, and black, a color with maximum utility." I felt a strange warmth spread through my chest. He wasn't trying to decorate me, he was trying to optimize me. "That would be efficient, Your Highness," I conceded. "Good," he said, and closed his eyes. I finished adjusting the brace, the final click of the ratchet sounding like a whispered agreement. I wanted to leave, but I paused. "Your Highness," I began, folding my tools, "when you inspected my water clock, you said that competence is its own defense. When you wore the brace, you said honesty is valuable." The prince opened his eyes, waiting. "I have built you a powerful leg. I have built you a magnificent city. I have eliminated the rival who sought to ruin you," I said, listing my accomplishments with the pride of a satisfied engineer. "The machine is running perfectly. What is the next specification?" The prince slowly reached out his hand, not to touch the brace, but to cup the back of my neck, pulling me gently upward until my face was inches from his. His gaze was no longer cold obsidian, it was dark and molten. "The next specification," he murmured, his breath warm on my ear, "is the operator's manual for the heart." The contact was a logical conclusion to weeks of intense shared focus. I didn't see the feared regent. I saw the man who trusted my hands to mend his physical flaw. I saw the broken machine I had fixed.
Thank you.
"I am not familiar with its inner workings, Your Highness," I whispered, the mechanical precision of my voice finally failing. "Then you will have to disassemble it, Lin Xu," he said, his lips brushing mine, "and tell me how to rebuild it." It was a declaration of surrender and a command for absolute loyalty. I had traded the tyranny of color theory for the tyranny of the heart, and I realized with professional certainty this project would be far more complicated than any orrery. I kissed him, accepting the challenge. The city could wait. The maintenance of the prince's own delicate, complex machine was now the primary task. Epilogue. Years later, the capital city had earned a new nickname, the Clockwork City. It was a city run on predictable, efficient motion. The Grand Canal system, Lin Xu's masterpiece, kept the city clean and flood-free. The city's time was now governed by a series of precise, interconnected municipal clocks, all calibrated to the celestial harmony sphere, the orrery that, though ugly, never drifted by more than a second a month. Lin Xu, now officially the Minister of Works, occupied a vast utilitarian office in the newly constructed Ministry building. He had replaced all the traditional screens and ornamental furniture with steel drafting tables and smooth ergonomic wooden chairs. His own wardrobe, designed by the prince, was a collection of high-utility black, charcoal, and deep navy tunics, light, flexible, and perfectly cut for maximum range of motion. I was no longer Lin Xu, the mad fool. I was Elias, the master mechanic, the man who had fixed the broken empire. It was a crisp autumn evening. I had just finished the blueprints for the new public railway system, a sprawling network of steel and steam. The door to my office opened, and Prince Jing, no longer the regent, but now the Emperor Jing, walked in. He walked with a strong, even stride of a man in his prime. The Kinetic Orthosis, my first great machine, was still a part of him. I had upgraded it over the years, replacing the bronze with a lighter, stronger alloy and making the springs whisper quiet. The technology was simply a functional part of his body. He leaned against my drafting table, wearing a simple, undecorated black court robe that I had personally cut to ensure zero restriction across the shoulders. It was the Shen cut principle applied to Imperial armor. "The specifications for the rail alignment are exactly 0.5 degrees off on the northern pass, Lin Xu," he said, holding a small copper ruler. I sighed, but my lips twitched. I accounted for the mountain's micro-tremors. The alignment is deliberately offset to absorb the stress load. You're only reading the surface metrics, Your Highness. He smirked, a rare, genuine expression of amusement. "You always think of the stress load, even my own." He set down the ruler and picked up a small brass gear from my table. It was the original main torque gear from the celestial harmony sphere, the one with the filed tooth. I kept it as a trophy. "This," he said, turning the gear over in his fingers, "was the moment I realized you saw the world not as chaos, but as solvable mechanics." "I am a man who appreciates structure," I replied, crossing the floor to him. "And I am a man who appreciates a flawless machine," the Emperor said, pulling me into a clean, strong embrace. His body felt solid, controlled, and perfectly maintained. The subtle hush click of his brace was the rhythm of our life. "I have no more major problems to solve," I murmured into the collar of his robe, breathing in the scent of sandalwood and clean metal. The city runs, the people prosper, and the treasury is full. What is left for the chief mechanic? The Emperor shifted, holding me tighter. A competent machine needs competent maintenance, Lin Xu. The state is not the only thing that needs attention. He stepped back and looked at me, his eyes full of the molten intensity I had first seen in his study. I command you to disassemble this, he commanded, placing my hand over his heart, which beat with a steady, reliable rhythm. I need you to find the flaw, the stress point, the friction, and I need you to adjust the tension every day for the rest of our lives. I smiled, a rare, unreserved expression of pure happiness. It was a mechanical challenge, and I had never failed one. Understood, Your Majesty, I replied, leaning in to kiss him. Let the maintenance begin. The perfect fit was not in a bespoke suit or a decorative sculpture. It was the perfect alignment of two complex systems running together in perpetual, efficient motion. I had found the ultimate challenge, designing the blueprint for a perfect, custom-made life.
I have waited for this moment, as have I, my love.